Hey there folks, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well folks, this is it. My final Chinese related blog of February 2022. But before I get started, why don't I give you folks a backstory on the superhero we'll be talking about today. Shang-Chi. Created by writer Steve Englehart and artist Jim Starlin, Shang-Chi, also known as the Master of Kung Fu and Brother Han, is a martial artist superhero born in Henan Province, China, whom was trained from infancy in the martial arts skills. Now, I never actually read the Shang-Chi Marvel comics because, well, I never knew about them at the time, but it is said that he's one of the best non-superhumans in martial arts, and he's dedicated his life to the art, being referred to by some as the greatest empty-hand fighters and practitioners of Kung Fu alive. And he's also a proficient in numerous unarmed and weaponry-based wushu styles, including the use of Guang, Nunchaku, and Jian. Also, I've heard that Shang-Chi has been teaming up with several other Avengers like Iron Man and Captain America, along with Spider-Man and Wolverine. So naturally, like Thanos himself, it was inevitable that Shang-Chi would get his own solo movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And of course, that's the movie that I'll be blogging today. So, released on September 3rd, 2021, the movie is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, let's get started. In a supernatural journey of self-discovery, Shang-Chi, the master of weaponry-based kung fu, confronts the past that he thought he left behind in order to protect the world from his villainous father when he's drawn into the web of the mysterious Ten Rings organization while searching for the mystical village known as Ta Lo. So, my thoughts on the movie? Well, in my opinion, this movie was really mysterious, epic, and hardcore. And yes, I absolutely loved it. But to further explain why I love the movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. The film was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who previously directed Short Term 12, The Glass Castle, and Just Mercy. A film based on Shang-Chi entered development in 2001, but work did not begin in earnest until December 2018, when Dave Callahan was hired to write the screenplay. Destin Daniel Cretton joined in March 2019, with the project fast-tracked as Marvel's first movie with an Asian lead, as well as their first film to have an Asian director and a predominantly Asian cast. Filming began in Sydney, Australia in February 2020 at Fox Studios, but it was put on hold in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Figures. Thankfully, production resumed on August 2nd before completing on October 24, 2020, with additional shooting occurring in San Francisco, California. Also, for the film's action sequences, director Cretton drew inspiration from a range of different fighting styles due to Shang-Chi being trained in different types of martial arts. These include the elegant, almost ethereal wushu style from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon from 2000, and the kinetic fights of Jackie Chan films. Supervising stunt coordinator Brad Allen, along with other members of the Jackie Chan stunt team, became responsible for making the different styles feel consistent, as well as containing elements of Hong Kong action cinema. Chinese choreographers were used to create wuxia-styled fight scenes. Now, in my opinion, the action and fight scenes in this film are really amazing. One of my favorites was the bus fight in San Francisco. Also, I thought the opening prologue, which was narrated in Chinese by Shang-Chi's mother, Yingli, was really interesting. Plus, I thought the flashback scenes went from heartwarming to thought-provoking and intense. Another thing I liked in this movie is the world of Ta Lo, which not only looks very breathtaking, but I also like the creatures that live there, like, for example, Morris, who is a Dijang, and there's also that awesome mystical dragon known as the Great Protector. However, there are also evil creatures that live there too, like soul eaters, which are led by the Dweller in Darkness, which in my opinion, while cool to look at, is a really manipulative monster. And now let's move on to the film's cast. The main hero, Shang-Chi, aka Shan, is played by Simu Liu. To me, Shang-Chi is a very interesting new hero in the MCU. While he did have a very rough childhood, I thought his martial arts skills are really amazing. Plus, I like that Shang-Chi decides not to become an assassin like his father wanted him to be. Next we come to Shang-Chi's best friend, Katie Chen, played by Awkwafina, whom was in Jumanji: The Next Level, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, and Raya and the Last Dragon. And she'll soon be in DreamWorks' The Bad Guys and Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid next year. Katie works as a parking valet, and in my opinion, she has got to be one of my favorite characters in this movie, mainly due to her quirky personality. Also, I like that Katie and Shang-Chi have been BFFs for about a decade. However, it hasn't been really confirmed if Katie was ever a victim of Thanos' snap. Anyway, I also think Katie has really amazing driving skills due to her being a Jeff Gordon fan. Also, despite being a rookie, I think her archery skills are pretty good. Plus, I also like that Katie's favorite song is Hotel California by the Eagles. Our next character is Shang-Chi's younger sister, Xialing, played by Meng'er, marking this as the first film she's ever acted in. In my eyes, Xialing is another memorable character. While she was a bit bitter after her brother left her for about a decade, I think she's tough, rebellious, and I like that she taught herself martial arts by observing and copying the movements and techniques until she mastered them herself. Plus, I thought it was pretty cool that she's been running a secret fight club in Macau ever since she was 16. Also, spoiler alert, I like that Xialing became the new leader of the Ten Rings at the end of the movie. Next is Ying Nan, Shang-Chi's aunt, played by Michelle Yeoh, whom was in the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kung Fu Panda 2, and she'll soon be in the Minions sequel, The Rise of Gru, along with James Cameron's Avatar sequels and the long-delayed Blazing Samurai. Ying Nan is an inhabitant and guardian of the legendary village of Ta Lo, whom was dedicated to the protection of the earthly plane from the soul eaters that lied beyond the Dark Gate. In my opinion, Ying Nan is a wise character who's never afraid to stand up for what is right. Also, I think she makes a great mentor for her niece and nephew. Another character to talk about is Trevor Slattery, played by Ben Kingsley, whom was in Freddy as FR07, Thunderbirds, Laika's The Box Trolls, and The Jungle Book 2016. The last time Trevor was seen was in Iron Man 3, back when he was posing as the Mandarin. However, during this movie, Trevor Slattery becomes a supporting character, helping Shang-Chi find Ta Lo. And finally, we come to the movie's villain, Wenwu, Shang-Chi's father and the leader of the Ten Rings, played by Tony Leung, who starred in a kung fu movie known as Hero. While Wenwu is a very complex and layered character, I find him to be a fully realized human with relatable reasons for his bad decisions. Also, I think Wenwu has incredible knowledge of martial arts, and his 10 rings are really strong weapons. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is an incredibly awesome movie to come from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It has great cinematography, great kung fu sequences, an epic story, and interesting characters. So, if you folks are martial arts fans or Marvel fans, check this movie out. And I also want to mention that I'm really happy that I got to see this movie in theaters with my dad and sister. And so, I give this movie the highest rating of 100%. Now, I know I didn't really mention this last year, but I hear there'll be a new Asian-related animated movie that'll be released next month. but I'll get to that movie soon enough. Anyway, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog. Mustang Pow...
Sir, I think we have a visitor who'd like you to blog a movie for him.
Really, computer? Who is he?
Well, why don't you look up?
Wow!